like after I was there, and I was like, this is so much different, and it's so intense. I loved it.
And welcome to episode 139 of Ripping the Rack podcast. I am your host, Tim. With me today is the King of the North, Calvin Luckey.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. How are we? How are we?
Fantastic.
Great.
And some guy was on an adventure this weekend, bucket list item, all sorts of good stuff. He is the Coastal Crusader. He is Brian Athern. Brian, how you doing?
I have nothing left. I'm exhausted. I drove from New Jersey this morning, 8 hours and 32 minutes in the car. And all I can say is I do it again in an absolute heartbeat.
That's awesome. So, folks, for those of you that don't know, Brian's he enjoys, some people might say he enjoys wrestling. Some people might say
kind of a hobby.
It's kind of a hobby for him. Brian got to have a bucket list item checked off this weekend. He was able to enjoy Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night at WrestleMania 40, which is obviously for those that watch wrestling, that's the
Super Bowl.
That's the Super Bowl. It's the World Championship. It's the everything encompassed into an amazing weekend. So
the 3-day person total for all three events, SmackDown and the 2 nights of WrestleMania, was about 170,000 people.
Wow.
In one, just in Philly. And for anybody who has been to Philly, you kind of know what the setup is. But for those that don't, Philly did a really great thing when they built their sports complexes. So what they did was, it's all kind of down in the very south part of Philadelphia on the near the waterfront, or near where the bridge is, the Benjamin Franklin and that bridge. So you take a turn off that, and right there is Citizens Bank Ballpark, the Link, and the Wells Fargo Center, and there's about 12 parking lots and a subway stop all around it. Parking is not an issue. That was one of the easiest places to go in and park, one of the best structured tailgate ways I've ever seen. Getting out of it, though, 2 very enthusiastic thumbs down. No, and I say that because, yes, they had traffic control for the streets. The parking lots were free-for-alls to get to the exit area.
Yeah.
If anyone's been to a country fair, you understand what it's like trying to get out of a full parking lot.
I mean,
I was hoping you guys would jump into the What Culture live broadcast there.
So the problem was, where our seats were, everyone was leaving all at the same time, and you had to wait for all the rows above you to get out. So it was like after night one, we were still at the field for an hour after it ended, between getting out of the stadium and getting out of the parking lot.
Well, it was 70-something thousand. I mean, I've been to Foxborough for a Patriots game with 70,000 people and trying to get out of there. I've been to Denver for a Patriots Denver game, again, trying to get out of there with that. Never been to Philly to see anything.
I would go back. It's awesome.
But I know Baltimore is set up very similarly, meaning you have Camden Yards, then right next to it you have MT&T, or whatever the Ravens play at, and they share parking, and it's just a huge complex. The
coolest thing. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, what I was going to say when I was there was they had Ohio State was playing Navy at the football field, and of course we went to a Ravens game. We went to a Orioles game because we were visiting DC, and we just I wanted to see Camden Yards, and Jordan's a baseball fan, so we went up and
beautiful field.
Oh, beautiful! I mean, it puts any other field I've been to. I've been to Yankee Stadium. I've been to 4 or 5 other stadiums, and Camden Yards is by far the best I've ever been to. But let's get back to WrestleMania here before we talk.
Yeah, so the coolest, it was just the atmosphere is awesome. So yeah, there's that many people, but the tailgating was cool. You walk by, people would be like, "Who's winning tonight?" And it was a really cool gathering of just wrestling fans. And it was cool to see like the wrestlers out and about. They had meet and greets. Ric Flair was at Xfinity Live, so I saw Rick. It was $100 to meet him, and I see you guys doing this, and I hate you both right now. They're watching Raw, and I'm not.
I'm not saying a thing, man.
I'm not saying anything, but I'm going to go back and watch it when we get off. And again, folks, understand I'm what we call a casual wrestling fan, meaning I watched it growing up. I watched it probably through the, mid 90s into the late 90s, early 2000s, and then I kind of went away from it and became what's known as a casual fan, meaning if it's on and I'm flipping channels, I'll stop, watch it for a couple of minutes just to kind of see, a promo or to see who's wrestling or something like that. I did admit to Brian, and he knows this because we chatted last night as he was there. I actually watched WrestleMania. First time in 20 years that I actually watched.
I actually have a few people who were messaging me as we were going, and they're like, well, I'm a wrestling fan again. I'm like, yeah, honestly, it definitely was the greatest, and that's the thing. This has been like 4 years in the making of this whole story. Like Cody Rhodes,
anybody that doesn't watch wrestling, the main event of WrestleMania last night was Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great way to put it, Brian.
It was Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was just it was entertaining. It's a lot. I watch to be entertained.
Yeah.
I know that, and I'm not going to use the word scripted or anything else, but I know it's predetermined.
Right.
I get that. I understand it. But it's entertaining. It's athletic. It's the athleticism of these guys.
It's more authentic than The Bachelor.
Huh?
It's more authentic than The Bachelor.
I mean, it's just it's a male soap opera.
Yeah.
It's Broadway and Boots is what it is. And the things that these
Triple H said it last night. He's like, we do this to bring the emotion out of you. Like, this is what we do. We're here to wrestle, but we're here to bring the emotion out of everybody. So
I said it, the main event started of night one when it finally the bell rang. I just sat there and I'm like, all right, everyone sit down and watch an hour's worth of art.
Yeah.
And that's what you got.
So I'm going to, Nico, and we're going to get on to bowling here in just a second, but I'm going to bring this up, and I have no problem with you feeling this way. I think it's fantastic. It's your opinion. I don't have an issue with it. Brian doesn't have an issue with it. Calvin doesn't have an issue with it.
Of course I do.
But
don't put words into my mouth.
No. I will say this. Nico, if you watch NFL, if you watch sports, if you watch any type of movie, if you watch Broadway.
Here's the fun thing, and this is a real fact. The federal government classifies WWE as sports entertainment. They also classify the NFL as sports entertainment.
Yes.
So to the federal government, the NFL and WWE are the same thing.
Yes.
Do with that information what you will.
That's why I don't bet. That's why I don't bet on football. I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, Brian, we'll chat again. We'll bring this up towards the end. I'm glad you had a great time. I was happy for you. It was cool getting your text and your snaps, and I could tell you were genuinely enthralled with what was happening.
Yes.
So that's cool. I'm glad you had a good time. Bowling, Canada.
Hey, bowling. But I'm watching. God, why do you have to come to me first? No, it's okay.
Because nothing's going to happen for the next 60 seconds.
60 seconds. My God, maybe the next
certain person has entered the area.
Okay. Canada. Just give me a quick second to pull this up here. So in Nova Scotia, we just had the Valley Mixed, which ended with Hoagie's Heroes coming out the victor with a record of 28-2. We'll get to that too, Nico, in a few hot seconds once we get into all this finishing and stuff. But Hoagie's Heroes was 28-2. Wicked weekend. it looks like they almost completely demolished everybody. And they had high pinfall too. Usually, maybe one team beats them in pinfall, but they had high pinfall over everyone. Sure Shots finished second at 22-8. And then we had 4 teams tied at 20-10. Turkey Hunters, PC Enterprises, Scrapyard Dogs, Divas, and Deadwoods. High average for the women ended up being Narissa Daniels at 115. Second was Heather Martin at 109 and Steph Miller at 107. High average for the men was Matt Harnett at 125, Nate LeBlanc at 123, Chris Niven at 122, and then Sean Dion at 122 as well. So it looks like a good weekend. Everybody, I think, had a lot of fun. Always good there. The 9-pin tournament at Kingswood, their second one. A local bowler, Corey Perry, came out on top. I've known Corey for a long time. Good friend of mine. He, I think he got into bowling because of me, but I'm glad he's doing well. I'm glad he's really coming into his own there. But he was the winner. Second was Jaden. A lot of people know Misty Jones. That is her son. He's just coming into it in the last couple of years, and he's coming on strong, bowling really well. And then Corey Smith, that guy's a loser. Travis Wallace had a good showing at the Easter Classic. He finished 4th. 5th was Bert Bernier. Oh, no, sorry. Pat. I think they got this screwed up. Somebody. Oh, Garrett got 4th. Sorry, Garrett got 4th. Travis got 6th. Hard to see these things here, but yeah. So that was a good 9-pin tournament coming out there. They had another good day. Coming up, there is a 9-pin tournament, doubles tournament in Moncton at Fairlanes. I
gotta stop you. I love just getting random text or messages in the middle of a show that just all of a sudden I look and I just start laughing. I mean,
yeah,
we're not professional, folks.
No, we're really not.
No, that's what makes this show fun.
So yeah, the 9-pin doubles at Moncton. I know a lot of people have signed up. A lot of people have messaged me to sign up. So I'm happy that that's going to be another good one. That's May 4th. This weekend, the best 5 of 7 handicapped. I don't know if that's still going on at Unbelievable Lanes. Bowlerama 460 at Bayers Road. That's the 20th and 21st. And then the ladies handicap is April 27th at Unbelievable again. So that's Canada, is from what I have received. So sign up at Fairlanes for the doubles. Be great.
All right. So Brian, what's going on? I'm just kidding. I got the stuff right here. I sometimes like to just put you right on the spot.
Well, you can do that if you want. And then we got the 560 coming up, and then we got to talk all about Easter.
We do. So we're gonna have a whole little section on Easter. So we'll talk about that in Uno Momento.
Time from now. Do you mean about Easter?
Huh?
You said on Easter, but that's a really long time from now. Can we just do it about?
Oh, Easter? I guess we're gonna talk about Easter.
Okay.
I'm tired. It's been a long whatever.
Shut up, I'll be tired.
We got so Easter is going to have its own thing. So we're going to move on to what are we going to move on to? The Pro Series. Congratulations to Aaron St. Cyr on his run through the Pro Series playoffs. I do not have all the stats and who beat who and everything else. But Aaron did edge out Danny Harris 2-string final at Leda Lanes, 226 to 224. It was Aaron's, or it is Aaron's first major championship title. So congratulations to Aaron. We have, let's see. Congratulations also goes out to Sarah Wright for winning the Candlepins for Cancer Ladies 80% Handicap Tournament at Academy Lanes. She rolled a 583 scratch, 663 handicap. Let's see. Bowlers that cashed was Caitlin Britton, Kim Baker, Caitlin Zaleski, Lori Smith, Sammy Smith, Alyssa Kaufman, Andy Bailey, and Sarah Wright. $300 was raised for the Candlepins for Cancer, which I have said this before. I will say it again. It is a 501c3 charity. And again, thank you to Deb DeRozier. Apparently, she did a great job running the tournament, as well as behind the scenes, Beth Richards, Kim Baker, Chuck DeRozier, and Tim Jalbert. Save the date, August 24th, 2024, for the next exciting ladies event.
They had a good turnout for that, too.
They did. They did. We have upcoming, we have a scratch event, second annual Candlepins for Cancer individual qualifying round, top 5 mixed ladder at Bowlerama in Sanford. Each bowler will roll off 5-string qualifier. Then after qualifying rounds, they'll pair the top 5 men and top 5 women. 1 with 1, 2 with 2, 3 with 3, 4 with 4, and 5 with 5. Top 5 mixed live show is Sanford on June 2nd. The roll-offs the qualifying rounds are Tuesday, May 14th, Thursday, May 16th, Saturday, May 18th, Saturday, May 25th, and Sunday, May 26th. Register at Candlepins for the number 4 cancer at .com. Prize fund is based on number of entries. The top prize last year was $2,200 plus bonus money. And top 5 live show will be Sunday, June 2nd. Thank you, Paul Grant, for that information. We have the State of Maine 1710 Ripping the Rack Drywall Concepts NASCAR 560 coming up. That is coming up in just a couple of weeks, actually.
On 420.
Yep. Coming up. That's 2 weeks from this past weekend, April 20th and 21st at 1710 Bowling Center.
The new scoring will not be in yet, so it will still be the semi-automatic.
Okay. So I'll just have a little more work to do, but that's okay.
Yay. The doubles this weekend.
Nico, if anybody wants to come stream it, they can. They're more than welcome to.
Feel free. I have no idea if anyone's streaming. I would assume Mark Weber will stream probably his matches. He does that a lot up here. But I have no idea if anyone is coming to stream or not.
Those contracts that we have to give people, and then people get mad about us, doing contracts. So
yeah. Other than that, we've got the Mixed Worlds coming up in June. So say hi to Angie.
Hi, Angie.
Hi, Angie.
Is the laundry done?
Is the laundry done? Almost.
All right.
I'm trying to catch up.
Apparently, I didn't do enough laundry while she was off gallivanting.
Timothy.
I thought I did. Let's see what else. Oh, we do have one tournament coming up this weekend that I know about. That's Josh Daly's doubles 10 stringer at Ryan's in Millis. Saturday, April 13th. Let's see. There's a 10 a.m. shift that's not quite full, and a 2 p.m. shift that is full.
I thought the 10 a.m. was. I thought they were both full. Maybe
They've had some dropouts, I think.
Oh, okay.
So unfortunately, a few dropouts. Let's see. I think. Did we go over the results? We didn't. I got to find it now. Sean Sears sent us the information on the last one for the Joan Yamelkowski second annual tournament. And there were some results from this past weekend, but I can't seem to find it quickly enough, so we'll try to get to that next one. I did want to remind folks, and this is more of a sober news, more of a kind of sober announcement. Let's kind of support this one. Our friend Brian Fournier, everybody, or I should say everybody, most people know who Brian is. He's bowled in the Worlds, he's bowled in the Friday Pro Leagues, he's bowled everything else. Many people know he's been battling cancer over the last 2 years. During this time, he has had to work, run leagues. In this post, he had to deal with Danny Finn, and we all know that is in and of itself tough to do. Caitlin's a saint. We know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So recently, Brian received news that things had not been going in the direction they were hoping. They had to start radiation and so forth. So he's got some mounting medical debts. They are going to be running a tournament for him. That is if I'm not mistaken, that is a sold out tournament. 132 people the last I knew, which is a massive turnout. There also is a GoFundMe that his mother had set up. I don't see it. Oh, I do see it here. I am going to share this to our Ripping the Rack page. So again, let's try to support this guy who has been pretty big in the game. He's a good guy. Cancer sucks.
Absolutely.
So
cancer does suck.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if we could, do what we can to help Brian out, they are approximately $3,500 away from hitting the goal that they set. So it's been pretty good.
The Candlepin community is always supportive, so let's not waver on this one.
Yeah. And there's more, but I really don't want to scroll through pages upon pages to find things. So once again, I'm going to reiterate, if you want us to really make sure we talk about your stuff on the show, send it to us. That would be great. And the longer Nico asks about Easter, the more I'm going to delay it. So
guy's very eager.
So what do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the amazing Caitlin Clark and how I am shocked at the amount of people
that tuned in
that have kind of become fans of.
I've been a UConn women's basketball fan for years, so I've always watched women's basketball.
No, I know, and I've
she's incredible. Did you see she got offered $5 million from Ice Cube to go play in that three-person league?
The fact that they had 19 million viewers for the game yesterday, which is more than the NBA titles, which is more.
They were showing that outside of the field on the big screen at WrestleMania, that game. And the parking lot was packed.
And it was a good game. It was. I was able to watch it. It was entertaining. Okay, let's talk Easter.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were going to keep talking about basketball. I was getting excited.
No, let's talk Easter.
The men's match
it's a holiday.
Tonight. The men's
with bunnies and eggs.
Chocolate. I was able to make it down. I did not bowl.
You made it down a lot earlier than I thought you would.
Yeah. So we Andrew wanted to get away for the night, so we ended up going to Portland for the night and spent got a hotel, spent the night in Portland, and she went back and I went this way. And it's only about an hour and a half or so from Portland.
Okay. Well, that's not bad then.
So, no, I had a blast. I mean, I was sore as hell and I only stood there. But that was cool. That's my first Easter experience down at Lita for that tournament. That was,
now you're excited to bowl, aren't you? Now you want to bowl.
I kind of do, but
yeah,
I can't, but I kind of do. And for those that don't know, the Worlds will be at Lita this year.
Yes, it will.
So, kind of excited.
I'm interested in that.
I really hope they do the 12 and 12.
Yeah. I think
I really hope
There's
that's
no
how
way.
they do it.
There's no way you can do it any other way.
I thought the scoring system made a huge difference. I thought the only tweak they need to do, I think, is the timing. I don't know if they can go from 3 seconds. I think it's set at 3 seconds. I think. Does that ring a bell, Calvin?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's set at 3 seconds. If it is, I'd like them to maybe set it at 5 seconds or 8 seconds or something. That would be good. But yes, Nico, they did shut off the automatic resets, which they will do, and they have said they will do for, really any tournament for the most part.
Yeah, and it's funny because and it is. I don't know if maybe it was the automatic scoring or the new system or whatever, but it seemed like it just flew by. Which last year it felt like it took forever. But I mean, and a lot of people came out and said that to me, like, this is going a lot faster than, and I'm like, yes and no, because we're basically on the same, we basically ended around the same-ish time that we did last year. Maybe like half an hour-ish before, but we were still on pace around 12:30 by the time we were done. And then everything was handed out and everything like that. So, yeah, it was good. It was, I don't know how to put it into proper words. It was annoying. for some it was annoying. For others, it was an absolute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Table that thought. Table it.
Okay.
I want to talk about that.
Okay.
And folks, for what we're talking about is when you have 102 bowlers, 3 people to a lane, and you have a range of averages from 125-ish
Yep.
to someone that probably had being generous,
57.
65.
Was
70?
it that high? I didn't think it was that high.
Maybe.
I think there was like 8 or 9 strings in the 50s. I don't think it was that high.
Let's table that discussion because we could go down there's 2 train tracks we can go down on this one.
Yeah.
So let's hold off because I got to give people we got to give people props first.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Number 1, we got to give Lexi and the staff
100%. Every year. Great job. The food, there was never, like last year it was a little, I don't know if they had maybe an extra staff there. Last year it was a little longer at the bar. There was usually a lineup at the bar. This year there was never a lineup at the bar. The bar was usually always empty. People were getting their drinks going. Like everybody had drinks. It wasn't that there was no bar sales, but it was moving. It was moving quicker. It was moving. So I think it was a lot better job this year. So yes, Lexi, staff always do a great job. Never disappoint there. And I'm sure Lexi was she was still stressed as usual because that's just a Lexi thing. She always works herself up to make sure that everything runs perfectly. And Lexi, you did a great job. Everything was great. And
I was super impressed with as a spectator. I was super impressed with how everything ran, how everything seemed to flow.
And the stats were up like by the third box of the next, like the very first bowler, the third box, the stats were right up on the board so everybody can walk by and see it. I especially liked how the totals were beside you as you were going so that you could see who you, like every ball, you could see what your pin total was. So as you were going, like near the end of it, for example, I was bowling against Sean Baker and I had to catch him. So I could see to my right what he was doing and what his total was at and how many pins I was up and everything like that. So I really like that because you could follow how everything was going and how you were doing and who you could catch and all the pins and everything. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it instead of trying to walk to the board. Okay, this guy's got 20 pins on me. Okay, I got him by 40. I got him doing all that. I can see that right on the board, right on the screen. I don't need to go and walk around. So I enjoyed that aspect of it too. So
and that was the other thing is even the way the stats come out was so much easier to read.
Yeah. I there was one thing I didn't like on the board. You could tell like, okay, there's 150 pin difference. You couldn't tell that. You had to calculate it. Now, anybody who has half a brain could calculate, okay, Austin has 2022 and Jeff Surratt has 2020. Well, he's got 2-pin lead. Like anybody could just do that, but usually on the side it would say like plus 150, like plus 30. Like it would tell you how many pins you're down or whatever. But other than that, like I think everything was a lot smoother this year. Everything was a lot clearer. Everything was a lot better. So I enjoyed it. It was great.
And yes, Nico, you
Dude,
kind of got to give us a chance, buddy. You got to give us a chance to actually get to these, but we are getting to these. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let's see.
We were talking about the stats and everything in the house.
Yeah, I was trying to, at the same time, I'm trying to find a couple of things so I can, because I was going to share the screen.
Yeah.
So, the other thing obviously is a shout out to the Candlepin Bowling Network. Greg.
Greg doing everything all the
Greg
time.
did that.
And
Paul came in.
and keeping everybody up to date. That was great. Like people at home were chatting and talking, and that was great too. Oh yeah.
I thought they did a really good job. It's really hard in a tournament like that when you have Jeff on the finishing up on lanes 1 through 18, and you had Austin over on lanes 19 through 20, 19 through 36. It's really hard to be able to stream both those and everything else. So
yeah.
No, I thought they did a great job. A couple of things that I'll shout out obviously is number one, Austin Barnes. Congratulations on winning. He was phenomenal from the get-go. It was I think his low string is too low in the front. In the front 10 was a 111 and a 118. He was 1400.
That's just being in a group. Like most of us have been there. That's like getting in that zone. And when a guy with Austin's ability gets in that zone, this is what happens.
Yep. He had a massive 203 string.
He went 7 what the front 5? 750, 760?
No. It wasn't that big. I'd have to do math, but I mean, it was 700.
Yeah, which is incredible.
But he went 700 on the back 5 too.
Yeah,
it was like 715. I mean, it was impressive. His and basically, Calvin, I know you had to take a quick sec there.
Code yellow
was talking about Austin.
Yeah.
And his kind of day in general.
His crushing like start to finish basically. I think he was losing like 2 strings.
And we will have Austin on at some point. I unfortunately I didn't even give it a thought.
Yeah.
Then
I thought about it if Brian wasn't going to be here, because then we'd have a third person. But
it never, for some reason, I don't know why, it just didn't cross my mind until Calvin mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah."
Why
are they so damn hard to find on
Candlepin chat.
Yes.
Yeah, it's if you use that
Because
search
we need
thing,
to stop using Candlepin chat, and somebody, and I know I should do it, but I don't want to. Somebody should make a tournament results Facebook page.
Well, I was trying to find the video.
but even then, just as that, Brian, like tournament results are even going up once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week.
True.
Like there's a lot of ACST, which technically you call that tournaments, right? Like it's the singles tour and stuff like that. Like there's so many things going up. But yeah, no, Austin, like start to finish, and I mean the man was just on fire. Like his 203 should have been like a 230. He just absolutely crushed every pocket. He was making shots. He made the like 310 clean, or the 210, sorry, 210 clean. He made like, I was surprised he didn't make the spread eagle a few times. Like I'm sure he did in the run of the day. Just unbelievable bowling. He deserved every bit of it, and yeah, crazy. It was
So basically, what I was trying to pull up was the video of him, the last 2 boxes of his 203.
Oh yeah,
and the video of him, the clinching,
couple boxes there.
couple boxes of the 20th string.
Yeah.
So Austin, for folks here, Austin obviously won it 26-72. His strings for the front 10 were 146, 111, 203, 140, 117, 158, 132, 128, 118, 174. And then his back 10 was 155, 93, 112, 107. That's where he kind of opened that door in that 12, 13, 14 for some folks to get a little closer. And then threw a couple of 151 to 140, followed it with a 92, but then he went 130, 116, and a large 149 at the end.
Yeah. Big finish at the end. So
Surrett had a day. I watched the first. I missed the first string. I got there right as he ended the first string, but I watched the next 9. I left after 10, and he was consistent the whole 10 strings that I was watching. On the head pin, missed a few singles, but other than that, he was right there. He was 26-21, and then third was Aaron Fontaine at 25-82, Josh Daly 25-54, Jimbo 24-75, Nick Leach 24-45, Calvin Locke 24-44, Sean Baker 24-33, Travis Wallace 24-31, and Nick Norcross 24-31. That was your top 10.
Big shout out to my little boy Travis Wallace.
That's great.
Not the bubble boy anymore. He was bubble boy for the last 2 years, and he really pulled himself together the last 3 strings. I think he had like 380 something his last 3 strings, which is, I think that's what it was. It was 29, 30 something, and big finish. Went into the not bubble anymore. So proud of him.
So I was talking to Jeff throughout the, when I got home, and he was like just off. He was coming into the 20th string. He's like, I got to have a monster string to have a chance. And he started, and I don't remember. He told me it was something like double strike, spare strike to start the string, something like that. And then he threw another double in the back that he had a chance that if he had thrown the triple, it might have made it. Because as he said, they were obviously watching him. He was watching them. Everybody knew kind of where things were at the end. I would have loved to have seen the ending. Just again, it kind of made me want to bowl.
Don't you lie to me like that.
No, it's serious.
No.
Dead serious. Brian, I'm not kidding. I was talking to Trisha D'Agostino and watching Sammy bowl and watching Baker and everything, and I'm just sitting there going, My head says my heart says I'd really like to be doing that. My back is I was standing there going, oh my God, there's no way I could do that. But it was cool. It was fun. Saw some amazing shots. Saw some, it was really cool. And I will shout out Kai Hunt had a 203 up at Newport.
Yep.
Last week.
Yeah. Something's who was it that was talking? Oh no, at the bowling. Where was I listening to that? Anyway, somebody was talking about it, just saying how there have been so many 200s this year.
6 of them, I think, something like that.
Yeah, 6 or 7 of them in the last 8-9 months or whatever.
And I'll say this: Legal Lanes was not juiced at all.
No, I can attest to that. Legal Lanes was not juiced.
It was not. It was the strings that I saw. Austin's 174 in the 10th was legit.
Yeah.
If that's at, I don't know, pick a faster house. If that's at a 1710 or Newport, well, Newport's fast.
Millis.
That 174 is probably a 190, borderline 200.
Yeah.
From what I was watching. Surratt had a couple of 160s that were borderline 180s based on how he was throwing the ball.
Yeah.
I saw a couple other big strings that, Daly had a couple. He had a stretch. His back 5 of the first string, he went 49, 38, 52, 67, 46, and finished with a 118. So that's back 6.
Yeah.
But they were monsters.
If you were, it was a little mix of both. If you were light in the pocket and just a little thick in the pocket, you were getting everything. If you were just a little bit full, you were getting splits. If you were a little too light, you were getting just the jumble fence and everything. So it was good. It was a nice, you like to say a fair house. If you were throwing a good ball like Austin was all day, you were getting, I was throwing a terrible ball the first 3 or 4 strings. I was punching a lot and I was.
Yeah, I tried to watch you.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't have.
No, I legit kind of just said, okay. I'll come back to him when something happens.
Yeah. Yeah. In the back 5 of the first half, I was finally getting some breaks. And then decided to proceed with 4 times in some sort of manner, ripping the guts and leaving 3 and 3 or 3 and 4, 5 times in one of the strings for 105. It was a great experience. It was so much fun. I was having loads of fun. But yeah, no, it wasn't great to watch me for a little bit. But to get 7th, yay. So suck it.
Look, I will say this, Calvin. I watched you battle. And that's, to me, it's hard when because we've all been there, to have a day where you're like, okay, there's a lot of money on the line. This is a really tournament that you want to do, but you battled. And you battled to make the money, to make it into the money. So you could have packed it up. You could have.
Because I picked you, I'm sorry.
Huh? What?
Because I picked you, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, did anyone write down our guesses?
I bet Nico did.
I'm assuming so.
I picked Surratt. I know that.
I picked Calvin.
I don't remember who I picked.
You picked Daly.
Did I?
Yeah. Because you said you can't pick yourself.
Right. That's true. I said I can't bet on myself. Yeah, that's true. I did pick Daly.
Why? Shohei did.
And I want to say
Matthews.
I want to say, what did I say? I said like 25.
Oh yeah, we weren't even close.
Oh, we weren't even
Yeah.
close.
I think I said like 25-60 or something like that. But yeah, we weren't even close to Austin just smashed us right out of the water.
So it reminds me. So I shouted out, Sammy and Trisha D'Agostino, and she sent me a thing. Hey, thanks for the shout out. I gotta tell a quick story that I asked her the next day how Sammy was feeling, because Sammy hasn't bowled in a long time.
Yeah, he was looking good. Like
And
every time I looked over, he was looking good.
So, from my understanding, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, he bowled because they were out to dinner with Kim and Sean, and they had a few drinks, and he was like, to the point of, basically, screw it, I'll bowl. I'm going to bowl. I'm bowling Easter this year. And Trisha signed him right up and paid the fee. Said, you're in now. And so I may not be 100% on this, but I asked how he was feeling, and she made the comment that he threw his shoes in the trash on his way out. So
no,
I'll see about the final confirmation on that, because I actually laughed really, really hard on that.
That's pretty funny.
But no, it was. I thought everyone did a great job, but I am going to talk about the elephant in the room really quick. And I'm going to word it this way.
First of all, did you see the post that was made by a certain individual that had you know what? I don't even care. Have you seen the post by that idiot Paul Yeadon? And I'm not going to read it because it's a literal novel. And it is the most
I mean, I read it.
Absurd thing I've ever seen.
So here's my take, folks. I understand that a tournament like this, it is and should be open to anyone and everyone that is willing to pay the money.
100%.
100%. Male, female, I don't care. However, if your bowling is that bad, where you have gutter balls that are going from one gutter to another, you're throwing 40 strings, 50 strings, whatever it is, I'm sorry. You've got people bowling next to you that are trying to win a lot of money. You have to have, there has to be something. A minimum average of 80. Something to bowl in this tournament. Or
sign up, do a 3-string qualifier. Take 102.
I don't think you need that. And the reason I say that, Brian, is I saw a lot of bowlers that, not a lot. I saw bowlers that struggled, but they weren't a distraction to the bowlers bowling next to them.
I completely disagree with Nico. I think that thing will fill if you do put an average cap on it. Bowling's in a renaissance right now.
You
look at some of the people that didn't bowl. Bobby Witt didn't bowl. Craiga didn't bowl. Like,
and here's the thing. I'm not talking about, Lexi's in a hard position with this.
The WCBC used to have a minimum average.
Yeah, they did. You had to have 112 average to bowl the WCBC as a man. Had to have a 112. With this, I think if you came in and said, look, you got to have a minimum average of 85, at least that person knows bowling enough that they know the common courtesies of who's bowling to your right and left and things like that. Nico, I don't think anyone's saying you go as high as 110. I'm not.
No.
I'm saying you got to have a minimal average of 80 or 85. 80 is 80 fine.
Basically, not throwing the ball. In the
85 is the blind average. Like, that should be the, like, it's,
I'm sorry. I got the response I was looking for.
Good Lord.
She and I won't read the whole thing, but she goes, I encourage him that he shouldn't make decisions while drinking.
Sometimes you play those games, you win some interesting prizes.
And he did say, and yes, he threw his shoes in the barrel after his last string. And Trisha, you can tell Sammy it was worth me driving down to get his hug. So,
oh my goodness, somebody else is listening to this podcast?
Yep.
Oh my God, I'm amazed.
I know. So, I was just, I'm not discouraged, but I did watch this person bowl because I heard a thump and I looked over and I watched him throw 4 straight gutter balls with people trying to bowl next to him.
Yeah.
I know he paid his money.
Yeah.
But so didn't the people bowling next to him that are trying to make money. I will tell you right now, I can't remember if it was Ashley Brenton or Brittany Underwood that made the comment. Might have been Ashley or I can't remember. One of them said that their goal was to improve this year from last year.
Yeah.
And they did. And their goal next year is to improve upon this
year. Small
gains
are gains.
And I hope they do because Nico, there's a difference between a 60 average bowler bowling a big tournament like this and 100 average bowler that is improving every time they bowl. 60 average bowler is not going to improve. They're there for the experience, and I understand that. I get it. I would rather have a tournament of 90 people that have a chance. I can't say that. I can't put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't because it's hard to say it. I don't mean it in that way. Brian, help me out here. I think you know what I'm trying to say.
I do. I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase it. It's not a professional tournament, but it is a tournament with such a rich history, with so many Hall of Famers that have won it or bowled in it. It should be treated with an amount of prestige, and I think if you have won it is. Hey, Austin! I think that if you've won it, you should have an automatic spot in it until you defer. I do. I think that is kind of what is kind of the thing. Like, particular people that honestly should have bowled in it didn't, and that was because there were no spots. And to me, I fully support having an average cap. And I would say that even if I was under it. Hell, I probably would be under it at this point. Let's be fucking honest. Pardon my language. I've been cussing all weekend like a pirate. But yeah, like, that's just my opinion. Like, this is one of those tournaments when you ask what are the biggest tournaments in Candlepin? Men's Worlds, Mixed Worlds, and Easter is right there.
Yeah.
It should be handled with a touch, not with white gloves like the Stanley Cup, but it should be handled with care. If anybody makes sense out of my innate ramblings.
I'll put it this way, that's
not at all, Nico. That is not why we're having this discussion. You could not be more wrong. Absolutely not. Okay, let's talk about why that is an incorrect statement of the only reason we are having this. No, it is not. Yeah, actually, it could be. It's the equivalent of golf. Okay, so let's say, would you put a junior varsity hockey team in the NHL just because they paid an entry fee to get in the NHL? Would that? No. Because It is a place where the professionals, and I don't want to say the professionals, but a place where people who take this game with the utmost seriousness, that they have paid money and they are willing to put their bodies through absolute hell and pain to win a tournament that has a good payout, but is also remembered. Look at all the information Craig had about this tournament and how prestigious it is, and the winners and the Hall of Famers that have won it. In my personal opinion, and that is what it is, it's an opinion. They're like assholes. Everyone has one. They all stink. This tournament should be looked at as a prestigious tournament, and you should have to have 100 average to bowl in it. End of rant.
I love it.
All right, Calvin,
What?
you wanna chime in
It's
real quick?
about the prestige of the tournament and the prestige of the game.
No,
And
I'm
honestly,
enjoying
more
this.
power
Keep going.
to that person for bowling in that. I couldn't have done it. Now I'm done.
Now you're done. yeah. I'm excited.
I don't know how to follow that.
Told you guys. I told you.
Yeah.
Caitlin, yes. I'm going to put this up for the people. Yes, absolutely.
We wouldn't be having this discussion at all if those people had been bashing ball returns with bowling balls. It'd be, get them out of here. They're unprofessional. Get them out of here.
So, Nico, are you saying if I said you had to have a minimum average of 85 that you're not going to find 100 people who have an average that high? Because I'm looking at 102 bowlers here where 100 of them, at least, have averages over that.
And I know at least 6 Hall of Famers that didn't bowl because there were no spots.
And I know of at least 10 Canadians who average higher than that who didn't bowl this year.
So my take is it's a very delicate situation that Lexi is in. And it's phenomenal that this filled for the first time ever.
She handles it amazingly. That tournament is run so well. These, again, are our opinions of a situation that happened in that tournament.
I
It has
would
nothing to do with how it's run. It's run amazingly well.
I do not care. So, for example, if the person in question had a 60 average, but they weren't slamming bowling balls into the gutter or being a difference maker between people, fine, let them bowl. They paid their money.
It's when it becomes a distraction, it's an issue.
Yes. That's where I think that's what I was trying to say, but I didn't get there. The good news is we have 350 plus days or 340 plus days before the next Easter Classic.
Yeah, to figure it all out.
To figure it all out, and it's not really ours to figure out.
No.
So, I just, again, congratulations to Austin.
We're not telling them not to come back either. That's not what we're saying at all.
Just have some common courtesy to the people around you.
Read the room.
That's it. I did miss a couple of things. We have the third annual Chicha Rose is coming up Saturday, June 1st. See Mike McChichi. So see Cheech on that. You can find spots, I believe, are still available. You have I really want to give a shout out to Blanca on her winning the Pro Series Bowler of the Year for the women this year.
Very cool.
Very cool. Great to see. Congratulations. Let's see. What else did I miss? Ladies single elimination. All entry fees go to the prize fund, courtesy of Bangor Brewer Lanes. This is Friday, August 2nd. 3-string qualifier. Top percentage of women will move on based on the amount of entries. That is also for the 31st Annual Ladies International Candlepin Bowling Tournament, which is August 3rd and 4th at Bangor Brewer. That is guaranteed $30,000 for first place based on 16 teams. Rosters must consist of a minimum of 4 women who compete in head-to-head one-string match. Maximum of 6 bowlers on your roster. So
Glad to
please
see that
contact
tournament
Amy
going
Doobie.
again.
What was that?
I'm glad to see that tournament going again.
Yes,
an awesome
that's a
tournament.
great tournament. So please contact Amy Doobie for further information on that. And I feel like I missed one other, but I can't find it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see. So we did have one question from our friend Wayne Petty, who after the podcast with Holbrook, he was interested in our comments on bowlers entering tournaments for the experience, knowing they won't be competitive. The lower level of play for the top competitors, and if space is limited, a more serious bowler might lose a chance to participate. From the novice perspective, it's a huge thrill to be on the lane with some of the greatest in the game. You can't shoot hoops with Larry Bird. You can't take batting practice with Jim Rice, but you could be on the lanes with Craig Holbrook or Amanda Carroll. So, which I 100% completely understand. And I have zero problem with a bowler entering a tournament for the experience, knowing they won't be competitive, provided that they understand that it may be for their experience, but they have to be able to understand the etiquette and what goes behind everything.
And let's face it, batting practice and shooting hoops is a lot different than this. This would be like saying, hey, I'd like to go in the game now in Game 7 of the World Series. Can I go play right? Can I go in and take the last 2 minutes of the NBA Finals? Can I just go in?
Can I have the final shot when it really matters?
That's kind of what this is. You want to take batting practice? That's fine. Cool. That's not something where there's a lot of money on the line. And I think that's what it is. When it becomes a distraction, it's no longer about your experience.
Right. And I think that's where I was going down that road of, being a distraction. And I'm going to use a couple of folks that I talked to, at the Easter Classic and stuff like that. And, they knew that they weren't going to win. They knew that they weren't going to come in the money. But you know what? They showed the class, they showed the etiquette, and I had zero problem with them being there because they were getting better and they were building the game and they were growing the game. And at the end of the day, it is about that. So.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to get to our questions for the night, but surprise. We are working on, I believe. So Wayne, okay. Wayne, you were still listening. Great. Let's see. So it's more about conduct and scores, and better averages are a predictor of better conduct.
Not always. No, not always. It's not even about conduct. It's about an appreciation of where you are and what you are a part of. Like, if you know that you're going to throw, it's just tough. Like, I equivalent somebody repeatedly banging the ball into the floor as someone it's almost as bad as like a birthday party taking pictures 3 lanes down. It catches your ear, it catches your eye, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put it this way, Wayne. Conduct, yes. But I'm not going to say better averages are a predictor of better conduct, because I've seen some pretty damn good bowlers have some pretty shitty conduct. This guy.
There's been numerous reset buttons broken at the Worlds. Those are all pretty good bowlers.
As I've gotten older, I've gotten better at recognizing the moment, knowing who's next to me, knowing where I am, what I'm doing. I think it's not necessarily conduct as much as it's etiquette, as much as it's knowing the situation. I hope if anyone listens to this that understands that I'm not saying you shouldn't give it a try. I'm saying just when you do it, understand that your actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences affect other people. I speak from experience. That's how I can speak on this. I said it in my speech when I was inducted. I made that comment. So
Yeah.
take it as you may. Go from there.
Yeah.
Couple of upcoming announcements. Sometime soon, either the next Jesus, I cannot talk tonight. What was I trying to say? Either the next show or the one after. We do have a Canadian great joining us. We'll see how that goes. Mr. Robbie Henderson has agreed to be a part of this show, so we're going to get some talk on McLaughlin Truck and Trailer. We're going to get some discussion on that. We're trying to figure out a segment of show. Trying to figure out how to make this work. Called Craig's Candlepin Corner.
Story time with Uncle Craig.
Story time with Uncle Craig. I 100% enjoyed having him on, and I really wanted to listen to more of his stuff. So we're trying
to Craig read the phone book.
We're trying to, yeah. So the good news is we're just trying to figure out some ways to, to really get him on. There's others that I am still working on. Some folks from Mass, some folks from New Hampshire, some folks from the north of the border, some folks from Maine. I love having a guest on. It's fun to me. I enjoy it. It's kind of fun to listen to others talk about their experiences. So we're going to wrap it up for the night. As usual, folks, you can get your questions, comments, and concerns over to rippingtherackpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. Brian, if you would so eloquently give our disclaimer as well as where else people can see and hear us.
Well, Tim, the views and expressions of Ripping the Rack podcast are those of Calvin, Tim, and tonight mostly me. As I apologize, I'm tired, I'm old, I'm sore, I'm cranky, and I work with children. If anybody gets that inside reference, you're welcome. And you can hear us on Anchor, Breaker, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you listen to your podcast mediums. Now I'm going to watch grown men play fight in their underwear. Have a good night.
So
I'm enjoying it. I was listening as I was going, and I was wondering if this was going to happen, and it did happen. So
peace out,
enjoy
folks.
it.